Okay, section 10.2. We'll do a couple problems from here. We're now looking for, we're looking at factoring polynomials in the form of x squared plus bx plus c. These are a special case only because the coefficient of the first term is 1. So there's a quick and easy way to do this. So let's do number 1. Okay, it says factor x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, now one of the things that we can look at is this sign. If the sign of the constant is positive, then we know that the factors are both going to be the same sign. And then we look at the second sign, and that sign will tell us if it's going to be positive or negative. So if the second sign is positive, both factors are positive. And if this sign here is negative, then it's going to be both factors are negative. But that's only if this sign here is positive. Okay, so because that's positive, because 2 is positive and 3 is positive, we know we have 2 positive factors. Now all we have to do is look for factors of 2 that add up to our b, which is 3. Add up to 3. And the only factors of 2 are 1 and 2, right? 1 times 2 is 2. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So these are the correct factors. And then we can go straight to the double bubble. The double bubble where we put x in both of them, and we know that they're both positive, so we have x plus 1 times x plus 2. So that's our first example. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Let's take a look at number 17. Okay, so we have y squared minus 5y plus 6. Okay, again, we look at this one, and since it's positive, it means we have the same signs for our factors. Factors have the same sign. Okay, and because this is negative, that means that our factors are both negative. Okay, so remember the first sign you got to look at is the sign of your constant, and then the second sign you need to look at is the sign of your of b. Okay, so now that we know we have two negative, we're looking for two negative factors. Okay, so we're looking for factors of 6 that add up to negative 5. Okay, so factors of 6, we have 1 and negative 1 and negative 6, right? Remember we said we've determined that both factors are negative. So we have negative 1 and negative 6. Well, do they add up to 5? Negative 1 plus negative 6 equals negative 7. So no, that doesn't work. What other factors of 6 do we have? We have 2 and 3. We know that they're both negative. So we have negative 2 times negative 3 gives me a positive 6, and negative 2 plus negative 3 gives me a negative 5. So that one works. So these are our two factors. And I can go straight to the double bubble, and I have x minus 2 times x minus 3, and that's my answer. Okay, let's do another one. So let's take a look at number 45. So I have here x squared plus 5x minus 36. Okay, so because this is negative, so if I look at the constant, the sign of the constant, negative means that my factors have different signs. They have different signs. So I'm going to have one positive factor and one negative factor. Okay, and this one means that my larger one is positive. My larger factor is positive. Okay, so now I'm looking for factors of negative 36, and they have to add up to 5, positive 5, right? Positive 5. Oops. Okay, so factors of negative 36, I'm going to have 1 and negative 36, right? Because I know, sorry, negative 1 and positive 36, because I know that my larger factor is positive. And that doesn't add up. That adds up to 35, so that one doesn't work. I can try negative 2 and positive 18. That adds up to 16. That doesn't work, right? 3 goes into 36. I have negative 3, positive 12. Look at that. We're getting a little bit closer. Okay, so that one doesn't work either, right? Because this is negative 3 plus 12 equals 9, right? How about 4? So we'll try negative 4. And negative 4 and 9, right? Positive 9. That works. So I have a negative 4 plus a positive 9, and I get a positive 5. So these are my factors here. So then I go straight to the double bubble, and I get x minus 4 times x plus 9, and I'm done. And remember, you can always multiply out or FOIL out, and you should be able to get your original answer. Otherwise, you've done something wrong. But you can always check yourself. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do number 47. In this case, we have, let's say, a squared minus 7a minus 44. Okay, again, we look at that. So because it's negative, right, that means factors have different signs. Factors have different. So we know we have one positive, one negative, right? And then if we look at this one tells us that the larger factor is negative. Okay, so let's think about, we're looking for factors of negative 44 and they have to add to negative 7, right? Again, remember, this is my C and then that's my B. Okay, so I'm looking for factors of negative 44 that add up to negative 7. And you start off with some of the obvious ones. You always have 1 and negative 44. If you don't see it right away, you know that if you have repeating numbers like that, 11 is a factor, right? So I have 4 and 11 is a factor of 44, right? And I know that that one's positive and one's negative, and I know that my larger factor is negative, so I have that. So I have 4 and negative 11. Just to check, I have 4 plus negative 11 gives me negative 7, so that matches, right? So now I know immediately that I should be able to go to 4x plus 4, because that's a positive, times x minus 11, and that's my factor. Okay. Okay, sometimes you might be given a problem where you have to find a common factor in all of the terms before you start using your double bubble method. So let's take a look at number 123. We're given 3x cubed plus 3x squared minus 36x. So if I look at all these three terms, they don't look exactly like what we've been working with, right? But I notice that 3 factors into every one of these terms, so I know I can pull out a 3. I also see an x that appears in every term, so I can pull out an x. And my smallest exponent for x is just 1, so I pull out a 3x. So now I'm left with x squared plus x minus 12. So that's my new problem. So I usually just keep my 3x. I know that that's going to go all the way down there. Now I'm going to be looking for factors of negative 12 that add up to positive 1, right? There's a 1 there. And because this sign is negative, I know my factors will be different, right? Factors with different signs. And I know that this is positive, so my larger is positive. Okay, so let's think about factors of negative 12 that add up to, so I'm looking for factors of negative 12 that add up to 1. So I have 3 and 4 good candidates, right? And I know that the larger one is positive, so 4 is larger, so I have negative 3 and positive 4. Negative 3 plus 4 equals 1, right? So that one works. So I know that my factoring out this part is just x minus 3, my double bubble, and x plus 4. And don't forget, I still have my 3x here, so I've got to factor out I've got to keep my 3x there. And so my final answer is 3x times x minus 3 times quantity x plus 4.